Hey guys, my name is Hannah and I would say let's have some fun today. Look what came in my mail. This is the Mcgrath Labs Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction palette. I'm so happy about it. This is an early birthday gift from my mother to me and I'm really excited to use this today with you on camera. Didn't touch it at all, it arrived yesterday. I thought about to do 3 looks with you together with this beauty right here. For you it will be in one video, but for me it will be 3 different days where I'm doing looks because I also want to wear them out, want to see how they're holding on the lid for the day, to give you a little bit more than just a first impression. Little story time right here. Initially this wasn't the palette I should have gotten as my birthday gift because I wanted this one, this little quad right here. But sadly, the mailman didn't deliver it like he should have. He put it somewhere in the house. Someone must have stolen it. I didn't think even it was someone from the house because the people are very trustworthy and my mother know all of them in the house, mostly all of them. And we think someone gotten into the building and stole the package because we found the open package on the street. And someone got the palette and sadly stole it, so I can't have it anymore. It's also sold out on Mcgrath website, so it never happened before. It is the first time. It's really sad. Then I asked for this one because yeah, I needed a palette from Mcgrath, you know. I needed a palette birthday gift, so it was offered to me and I didn't said no. So I'm really happy about this one now, that this one is in my collection, you know. I sometimes do something like what's new on the makeup market video, and in one of those I talk to you about exactly this palette and that I think that it's so beautiful looking, so stunning. And now I have it in my hands and I'm really happy about that. And as soon as I got it yesterday, I wanted to film with you together with this palette. I'm so excited about this one. I also got in the mail my new holiday palette from Pat. Is it the Nirvana Divinity? Let me see how it's called. I'm really bad with names, guys. I'm so sorry. It's the Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana. This is what's called. I won't open this one now because we will do a dedicated video for this one as well. I'm really excited about that. And I think it's looking so beautiful. I love the color. And now I have the feeling I'm becoming a holiday Mcgrath palettes collector. So now I'm too deep into it that I can't stop. So I think I will try to collect these beautiful palettes right here each year for myself, if she decided to bring them out, of course. But if she does, I really think I will collect them. Let's see. Right now it's turning into something like that, but maybe I will change my mind later on. But in the moment I have all 3 of her holiday palettes and I love them all so much. For this one I didn't use it because I really want to use this one as well with you together, and I also maybe will do 3 looks with this one. We will see, but I'm really excited about that. So, but now back to the main star of this video right here. Let's put this one here. Can you see it? Oh yeah, you can. Ah, this face. Beautiful. Here's the palette, guys. Here is this beauty and I think it's looking so stunning, so sparkly. I think the most of you, or the majority of you at least, watched already some videos on this palette right here. So yeah, you maybe all know right now that the 4 special shades aren't the baked ones anymore, at least in this palette. Many people thought that because of that reason the price wasn't worth the palette, even though this palette is stunning and beautiful, because the specialness isn't there anymore. You know, the 4 shades right here are so stunning, so glittery, so sparkly, so beautiful, but because there aren't her special formula, her special baked formulas, yeah, you can't find something like that in many other palettes. This is what I collected in some of those videos I watched personally, and I will make up my mind about that as well, and I will tell you in the end what I think about the 4 special shades that aren't so special anymore. But we will see. We will see how special they really are, how amazed I am in the end or not. We will see that, but the one thing I can tell you, when I opened this palette right here, I personally was really amazed by those sparkly shades. I thought they're looking so beautiful, so glittery, so Pat McGrath-like. So me personally, I can't, with my eyes, I can't see that big of a difference. Of course, I can see that they aren't baked because the smoothness isn't there. There are more that gribby texture. At least when I'm looking at them, they're looking like that. But I don't know, the sparkles are there, the beauty is there, and we will see how I will feel and how much of a difference the new special shades are making in the end in the look. So let's see. I will start with my first look, and day by day I will do another one, and after my third look I will come to a conclusion with this palette, and I will tell you my pros and my cons, if there aren't some cons there, because you know, when it comes to Pat McGrath, sometimes I'm a little bit biased because I love her brand so much, and I really try to focus on positive and negative stuff to tell you something, what I didn't like so much. But it's sometimes a little bit harder to do that with a brand you really admire and love. I try to do it as accurate as possible, but I love her brand so much and I'm always so amazed by her stuff that it's hard for me to pick here and there some things that I didn't like, if it makes sense. But things I like or I don't like, maybe you like. So every opinion on things are a factor of what's your personal style, what are you liking, what you don't like, if you like glitters, if you like more the matte tones, if you know, all the factors are relevant for your own opinion. I can just tell you my opinion, my likings, and based on those I will make my decision in the end whether or not I think it's worth it to buy this one, or in other words, if it was worth it for me buying this beauty right here. So without further ado, I talked really much, I'm so sorry, but without further ado right now, let's get right into the video and let's get started. So like always, I zoomed you in a little bit closer so that you can see everything I'm doing with my eyes. And I think today I want to do a relatively boring look. I'm really excited about this so-called boring look because I think none of this palette is boring, even though maybe some people would consider it that way, but for me it's a really exciting palette, so let's dig into it. And I will start with this dark brownish shade right here. And I will put it on a really flat packing brush. And a side note, guys, I always prime my eyes beforehand. My face is obviously finished already, and I will link everything down below I'm using. And if I use a glitter glue or something like that, an enhancer, I of course will tell you that I used it. And yeah, so I will claim this right now that in every video I will do with this palette, I have an eye primer on. I always use eye primer. It's the step I'm always doing, so that you are aware of that. So let's start with the dark brown shade at the outer corner of the lid and packing it on. When I swatched those matte shades in this palette right here, I'm really happy to tell you guys that I think I feel significant improvement of the matte shades of Pat's palettes, because there are, in each new palette she brings out, I don't have everything, but I have older ones, I have newer ones, and I have the feeling that the matte shades are improving step by step. Here I have the feeling that they are feeling so smooth but pigmented like always, and they are gliding really nicely on the lid. And I have the feeling they will also blending out really nicely, but we will see in the next step if this is true or not. But right now I have a really good feeling about them. So the same shade I will use again on the tip of the same brush, and I will smudge it directly at the outer portion of my lower lash line and bring the two colors together. like that, really lightly. So now I will use a blending brush and I will go into this whitish Skin Show shade from Pat that she includes in every palette. And with this one I will blend the darkenish brownish shade a little bit out and bring it up to my brow bone. Because it's not really a shimmery shade, it's more like a satiny kind of a shade. And so therefore I think it's okay to use this one in the crease. So really happy with it. Like I told you, I will keep it today really simple and easy. And the next step I will do is to dig into this color right here. It's something like a dirty bronzy shade, if you know what I mean. It's bronzy and goldenish and with the right amount of dirtiness in there. And it's the least special shade, of course, with the Skin Show shade. I think it's the least special one, but I somehow really like the color. It's something in between a gold and a brownish shade. So I will use this one in the front portion of my lid area and fill it out with this shade. Going a little above my crease as well on this side. Like that. And again with the fluffy brush I will blend everything a little bit more out, but this time with no additional product on my blending brush. Now before I will use a special shade, which I'm really excited about, I will use my NYX Glitter Primer just to prevent glitter fallout and to make the color a little bit more present. Because I always do my face beforehand and it's just easier for me to use a glitter primer. And I will put the glitter primer basically all over this dirty bronzy shade I used in the front part of my lid area. Now I'm really in the fence if I want to use this whitish shade right here or this champagne-y shade right here from the special part of this palette. I think my initial thought was to use the whitish one because it's really an interesting shade to me somehow, and so let's stick to this one. I will dig with my finger into this whitish shade right here. And I have to say, guys, all of those shades are feeling so buttery smooth. They have a really smooth touch to them. They are not gribby like her other special shades. So with those ones you have no surface area you have to break through when you are touching them, and they are smooth upon first touch. So maybe for some it's a plus, maybe for some it's not, but they are definitely more on the glittery side. I think her other special shades, they are really glittery and special, but they have a smoothness to them, and those ones also are smooth, but they're a little bit, how could I say that? They're a little bit more crumbly, but in a good way, if you know what I mean. So let's put this all over the bronzy shade I used. Ooh, it's transforming the bronze shade really, really beautifully. Oh, it's such a wet looking shade. I think I really like this one. And I will take it to my brow bone area, the rest that I have on my finger. Let's do a second layer, why not? Beautiful. This one transformed the look really, really nice. It gave my eye a sleek, wet look. And I'm really, really into that. They are a little bit crumblier, but when you are putting them on your lid, they are becoming really smooth and beautiful. So now let's go back to the lower lash line, and now I will use a small fluffy blending brush and I will go into this dirty bronzy shade again and I will smudge it on the front part of my lower lash line. And I also will connect this one with the darkish brownish shade. So now with a small danced lip pencil brush, I will go again into this whitish glittery shade and I will smudge it in the middle part where the bronzy shade and the brownish shade are meeting at the lower lash line. with the same brush I will go again into this whitish shade and put it at the inner corner. Like that. And I will also go into the Skin Show shade, just a little bit, and put it over the inner corner shade that I use. So guys, and I think we are done. This is the finished look. I will quickly finish this one off camera and do my lips as well, and then we will be right back with the finished result. So guys, and here's the look all zoomed out. I finished up the look with my Pat McGrath Dark Star Mascara and put it really lightly on my lashes. And I went for a little bit of a bolder look today and used for that my Lisa Eldrige Velvet Lipstick in the color Velvet Jazz. Really love this one. And yeah, what can I say? I love this combo. I love the look today. It's exactly what I imagined it to be. I wanted it really light and not much to it, but with a little bit of shebang. If you look closer to my eyes, you can see really the sparkle, the wetness, the beauty. It's simple, but it's in simple excitement, if you know what I mean. So really love the look today. Really went for what I felt today, and maybe tomorrow we will be back with a bolder look, but this is the first look and I'm really impressed right now. And yeah, everything else I will tell you at the end of the video, but right now I really like the look. I hope you do too. This is a little bit of a simpler look. If you don't do a bold lip with that, it could be even simpler and looking even simpler, maybe also day friendly, but we will see each other and then we will be right back with the look number 2. So guys, let's move on to look number 2, but before we will do that, when I watched my footage yesterday for the first look, I realized, I don't know how, but somehow I forgot to swatching a matte shade. And I thought, 1, I could swatch them all again, or 2, I will show you the matte shades now in the second part of the video, just in case you are curious about that. Here are all the matte shades swatched out. I don't know how. I think I forgot to swatch this middle shade right here. Really sorry about that, but here they are all lined up together, the matte shades, if you are really curious about that. So here they are. And now let's move on to the second look. So for the second look today, I told you I really want to go a little bit bolder today. And for that, I think I will play with this trio chrome right here. So let's see where the journey will bring us. I have something in mind and let's get right to it. So today I will start with this darkenish reddish shade right here. This is the base shade of this trio chrome, I would say. They are looking really similar in the undertone shade. And I think therefore this is really perfect. So for that I will use a really large packing brush to cover my whole lid with that shade. So let's do this. A really romantic shade. I love such shades. It's nothing new that we haven't seen before from Pat McGrath, but I don't know, I really like those shades. I'm not mad that it's in here. A little bit above my crease as well with this shade. And this one is really nicely pigmented and can really nicely build this shade up. But it's really pigmented. So if you don't want that much, you have to dip really lightly with your brush in Pat's matte shades. But I go for the pigment today, like you can see. Really love it. Feeling already like a vampire, that's a good sign, because yesterday, you know, this is my guilty pleasure, you could say. I loved to watch as a teenie Twilight, and now it's again the time to do that. So watching it again, the first film is now watched and I have to go with 3 or 4 other films, I think 4. And I'm really excited. It's funny, it's nice, it's nostalgic at the same time to watch them again. So maybe therefore I want to feel like a vampire today, who knows? But yeah, it's really always this time around when I want to watch this movie again somehow. It's really nostalgic. It's reminding me of my teeny days where I was so hardly in love with the film. I don't know if I would love it as much if I would see it nowadays, but with my nostalgic feelings for the film, yeah, perfect time. So now I will go with a fluffy blending brush really lightly in this shade right here. Really lightly. It's a really beautiful blushy shade. And I will blend this color a little bit out with that. I have to say, guys, the mattes are performing really nicely. You know, I like her mattes, they're really not bad. But sometimes there are some dots here and there. But this time I'm really liking her mattes in this palette. They're looking so stunning and beautiful. So the first thing I will do is now to put a little bit of glitter glue on, like I did yesterday, because I really want that the shimmers are a little bit more enhanced and that they are staying and not falling down on my face. So this is a step I like to do, and after that we will move on with the first glittery shade from Pat. So like always, my NYX glitter glue all over the lid. Because today we will play with some more shimmers. And the first shimmer I will use is this beautiful gold right here. This is so much more glittery than I'm used to with her golds. I think they're mostly a little bit more metallic and have a glittery touch to them, hue to them, if you know what I mean. It's really hard to explain. But this time I think the gold is looking really glittery. So really excited about that. And I will take this one on my finger. Also really smooth in the touch. It's looking really nice. And this one I will focus at the outer corner of my lid area. So the really light patting motions. I will pat the gold at the outer portion. But I will bring it too far up because I don't want an overly glittery look today. But I for sure want to have some shebang on my eyelids. So I will stop right there where the burgundy color is stopping as well. Wow. We'll come a little bit closer that you can see the beautiful wetness of this shade. I'm really impressed. It's a really beautiful gold and the wetness is there, definitely. You can see it. Wow. It enhances the look really nicely. So far, so good. Now I will go to this trio chrome shade right here, again with my finger. Also really buttery to the touch, really wet feeling as well. It's like a cream. It's almost like you're touching a cream shadow or something like that. It's really buttery and a little bit more flaky. And this one I will focus at the front portion of my lid. And we will use the same technique as with the gold. So I will stop right there where the burgundy color is stopping as well. And not bring this shade too far up to my brow bone. Oh, this combo, guys. I'm in love. Stunning. Even though I have glitter glue on, there is for sure some fallout on my face, but I think it's manageable. I can wipe them off, hopefully. But there is some glitter fallout if you are curious about that. So again, for the other side, this shade is really pigmented, so here I don't have the feeling that I have to dip twice in it to get the most payoff. I hope you can see the shift in this shade, and I think it's pairing really nicely with the gold that I used at the outer portion. I like where this look is going so far. So let's move on to the lower lash line now. For the lower lash line, I will go again in with my small blending brush that I have right here, and I will go into this really beautiful burgundy shade. And I will start at the outer corner and working my way to the front part of my lower lash line. So, and now for a little bit more smoothness, I will go into this shade right here again with the same brush. And I will work it a little bit underneath the burgundy shade to blend everything into each other. So, and with a small dense brush, I will go again into the Triochrome shade right here, really lightly. And I will put this one at the front part of my lower lash line. Just for a little bit of a glittery touch down there, but really not too much. And for my inner corners, I will go into the Skin Show shade right here, right there. And with the same brush, I will go again into the Skin Show shade for my brow bow area. So guys, this is the finished look. I will touch up a little bit and also do my lashes and my lips, and then we will be right back with the finished result. So guys, and here's the look zoomed out. I, of course, did again my Pat McGrath Labs Dark Star Mascara on my lashes. And I really loved the outcome of the look. And I don't know why, somehow I really felt the pinky lips today with this look. And I thought it's looking really wintry like that and really, yeah, cold, if you know what I mean. So for that I used my Pat McGrath Blitztrance lipstick in the color Lady Stardust. Really like how it came out. And yeah, I'm really impressed by the second look. I think it's really different from the first look. And I managed it to, yeah, be a little bit bolder than yesterday. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed my second look with the palette. Tomorrow will be the last look. And I'm excited what I will do for my last look on camera with this palette. It won't be the last time I will use it in front of the camera, of course. But it will be the first time I will tell you all about my feelings towards this palette. So if you're curious as well, stay tuned and we will see each other for my third and final look. So guys, it's the third and final day with this beauty right here. Let's jump right into the third and final look. I'm really excited about it and I have something in mind so that we are using all of the beautiful colors in this palette right here. And let's get started. So, and today I really want to play with all the colors I didn't use until now, and there are left just 2, I think, and I will try to include those ones in my look today. And I think I really want to do a halo eye today, so let's do this. And for that I will go first into this darkenish brownish shade right here with a really small dense packing brush. And I will put this shade at the outer and inner portion of my lid area to create a halo. Just a little bit above my crease again. And then I'm working it a little bit inwards. And I build up the color as much as I want until I'm satisfied with the pigment. So now I will use a denser blending brush and I will go into this terracotta shade right here and I will blend this one into my crease and blend everything out with this shade. So now again with my NYX Glitter Glue Primer I will go all over my lid and also a little bit above my crease area. Now I will go with my finger into this silvery shade right here and I will put it at the outer and inner portion of my lid, there where I also put the brownish shade down. but I will focus it mostly on my lid and don't go that far upwards with it. Just a little bit maybe. Now I will take the same dense blending brush again with no additional product on it to blend the gray shade out. And now I will dip with this brush into the Skin Show shade right here and put it on my brow bone area and smooth everything up under there. I really like to use this shade for that purpose. So now I will go into the last shade that I didn't use, and this is this really beautiful champagne shade right here. I really want to use this one today, and I also will dig into this with my finger and put it at the middle portion of my lid to create a nice soft halo. I think it's a really soft type of an halo and I'm not mad about it. If I want to make the halo really pop, I needed to dig into the whitish shade, I think, into this whitish rosy shade right here, but I didn't. So this is, or maybe also into this goldenish shade. But you know, I really wanted to use this color today because I didn't have until now, and so I really wanted that you guys can see how this color is performing as well on the eyes. So I hope it helped a little bit. And now I will dig into the terracotta shade right here, again with the same dense, fluffy blending brush. And I will smudge it all over my lower lash line. Just to have a little bit of something down here, you know. I want to keep it a little bit lighter today at the lower lash line. So now I will dig with this really small dense brush into the Skin Show shade again, and I will use this one for my inner corners. And drag it a little bit on my lower lash line. So I think this is all what I want to do for today. I really like the outcome. Now I will do a little bit of mascara on my lashes and do my lips, and then we will be right back with the finished result. So guys, here's the finished look all zoomed out for my lashes. Again, like always, I used my Mcgrath Dark Star mascara. And for my lips, I used today my MAC Luster lipstick in the color Patisserie. It's a really nudish pinkish shade and I like it for every day. And really big fan of this shade. I use it very often. What are your thoughts on this palette? I have to say I really like it right off the bat. And here it is, I will pull it out. I really love this one. I think it's really nice. It's somewhat really versatile, but also really day friendly. So maybe if you didn't like the more neutral version of the Divine Rose 2 palette, the Divine Rose 1 palette, if you didn't like it that much because you aren't a big fan of rosy tones, maybe this is a better alternative for you and you really like those more coolish, reddish, wintry shades, then this is a really nice palette for every day, I have to say. But you also can pump it a little bit more up with this. I think in my video I called this one the whole time a triochrome, but it's in fact a duochrome. I'm really sorry. So this duochrome right here, this shade can really transform every look that you are doing. I really like it for that. It's like I told you, it's not necessarily a really groundbreaking shade, a really unique shade. We definitely saw this kind of duochromes very often, but I really like it. It's a really nice, like I told you before, a really nice version of this duochrome shade right here. It's a really opaque and stunning, glittery, wet looking version. And yeah, the other thing is, like I told you as well, those 4 special shades aren't her baked formula anymore. I think you definitely can tell that there aren't. You can see it right away in the pan, but also when you are touching them, you can feel that those shades aren't her special formula anymore, at least not the old special formula that she used to do. But I really like them. I think they are really nice for this palette. I think they are really, yeah, they are a good match for this palette. And although they aren't her special formula, I really like them on the eyes. They're a little bit more crumbly than her original special formula, but once you put them on your eyes, they're melting because I think of the warmth of your fingers. I didn't use them with a brush. Maybe I should have, that I can tell you either way how they are performing, but somehow I didn't. I like to use my fingers for those shades anyways, to be honest. But because of the warmth of your finger and the pressing down of the the shades really melted on your lid really nicely, so that are getting this sleek reddish effect on your lid. Really appreciate that as well, and I think they're performed really nicely, guys. You know, if I think of the value of this palette in comparison with my other Pat McGrath palettes that in fact have those special shades where you have the surface area that you need to break through to get the most beautiful reddish look on your eyes, I think, yeah, it's really different, and maybe for some it isn't worth it, but I don't know, I really like it. I think for me personally this was worth it, and it's a really nice present, so I'm not mad about it, to be honest. Maybe, I don't know if it will be a thing that she's continuing, but I hope she will maybe do something like a mix of those shades in her next mothership, maybe, that she put maybe 2 of those kinds of special shades in her new mothership, and maybe down here the beige shades. It would be also a really nice combo of those 2. I think I would really like to see that in the future, maybe, because I'm not mad about them. You know, I also want to say that they are really reminding me a little bit of the Linda Hallberg palette, the Shimmer Saga palette, and I will pull this one out for a moment to compare the shimmers with each other, not necessarily the shades, because I think the shades are really not that similar, but the formula is reminding me a little bit of those shades. So let's compare those for a moment. So here's the Shimmer Saga palette. Which one we want to use? Let's use the color Love, this shade right here on my middle finger. Yeah, you see it has also a little bit of that crumbly effect, but I would say, yeah, let's see. I would say it's not that glittery like the Pat McGrath is. Which one we want to use here? Maybe let's use this one right here. This really specially duochrome. Why not? Yeah, I really can. It's different. You see, it's even more crumbly than the glittery shade from Linda Hallberg. And it's even more opaque, I have to say. Even more shiny and wet looking. Let's use also another one from the Pat McGrath to compare them. Maybe this champagne tone I used today on this finger right here. It's a little bit different. Yeah, maybe those ones are a little bit more similar to each other than this really special duochrome shade right here. I would say those 2, this in the middle is the Linda Hallberg Shimmer Saga palette, the color Love, and those 2 are from the Pat McGrath Moonlit Seduction palette. I think now that I have them on my fingers, the really special one is even more shiny, more wet looking, also more crumbly. And those 2 are a little bit more similar. This is also from the 4 shades at the end, this shade right here from Pat, but it's a little bit more on the same page. Let's swatch them. This is the really special duochrome shade from Pat. This is Pat's other shade, this champagne tone that she have in her palette. Stunning. And now the Linda Hallberg shade. But it's also really crumbly. It's reminding me really a little bit of this champagne shade right here. And you can see this shade, this really duochrome special shade from Pat, it's the most intense and the most wet looking shade. And those two are a little bit more similar to each other. This right here is from Linda Hallberg. I would say those are a little bit more comparable to each other than this really crumbly special shade from Pat. But there are similarities, so that you are aware of that. And now I will show you just a little side-by-side comparison with the Mothership Subversive palette, so that you can see the special shades, that how different they are looking right away in the pan. Let me see how I can manage this a little bit better. Now here are the special shades. Here you can see this. The original special shades from Pat are a little bit more smoother looking. They're also really shiny and glittery as well, but I think those are really more on the wettish, glittery side. Those are more on the glittery, smooth, shiny side, if you know what I mean. So it's a little bit hard to explain, but I think you can definitely see the difference right away in the pan. And now maybe let's, just for the sake of the, not necessarily the color, but the formula, let's compare a beige shade, maybe this one right here from the Subversive palette. This is a really beautiful beige shade, and it's a little bit, I break through the surface area a long time ago, so it's really smooth feeling and really nice, and it's a little bit more smooth on the finger as well. And now let's compare this one with this really glittery special shade from her, this duochrome. It's really crumbly, so I have to do it maybe this way. It's a really crumbly shade. I think the best way to pick this shade up is to dip a little bit more lightly in there, and then to maybe do this motion right here, and after that you have to dip again a little bit more in it, so that it's not falling apart. Because you can see right away how much more, I hope you can see it, how much more crumbly this is. You see all the crumbly pieces down here. It's really a different kind of, yeah, you feel right away that it's not the normal special formula from her. So this is definitely more crumbly from the Moonlit Seduction palette, and the shade from the Subversive palette, the original special shade from Pat, is more smooth and polished looking right away. So let's compare those two as well. This is the Subversive shade, and this is the Moonlit Seduction shade. But when you are working it into the skin, it's getting more and more smooth looking and more beautiful shiny. So yeah, here you go. But you can see it's really wet looking, really shiny and wet, and this is more on the, yeah, more smoother wettish side. I can explain it really nice, but I think you can see what I mean. But both of them are really beautiful and stunning, I have to say. I'm really not mad about those new special shades. I don't know, I really like it somehow. But like I said, I would really like to see a combination of those two shades in a palette, maybe for the next one. I think it would be a nice fun switch to the newest palette that she will hopefully come out with the next year. So it would be a really nice thing to see both special formulas in one palette. I wouldn't be mad about that, to be honest, because I really like the new formula. Really like the effect that it's giving my eyes, and that it's giving me overall this reddish, really shiny, glittery effect. I'm really a big fan of those. So now that we talked about the 4 special shades down here, let's talk about the 6th shade up here. I really like them, to be honest. I think I can really feel and see an improvement of her matte shades, that you can feel that they are blending with each new palette that she brings out. You can feel that the improvement of the matte shades, that they are blending out really nicely, really smooth. They're really easy to put on the eyelid. You can manipulate them if you are dipping a little bit lighter into them. You can make them a little bit more soft looking, but if you want to have pigment right away, no problem, just go a little bit more in there and you have the pigment upon first applying the shade. I know many people didn't like this shade very much. They thought it's boring, this shade up here, this metallic shade, but I really like it. I think it's a nice bronzy, dirty, goldeny shade. I'm not the biggest fan. I think it's not a groundbreaking shade, but I'm not mad about it. I think it's a really nice metallic shade. And the Skin Show shade, like always, there's no big difference in all her Skin Show shades. Maybe the undertone is a teensy bit different than the palette before, but other than that, it's always this really nice bright Skin Show shade that she have. And I also really like this one. This is what I use today on the outer and inner portion of my lid. And I also really like this silvery gunmetal-y shade. I think it's a really nice pairing with all the other shades in here. And this is really metallic and wet feeling as well. And it's a little bit more special feeling than this metallic shade up here. I think this is a little bit more of a special metallic and really wettish, beautiful, shiny metallic that you get with this silvery shade. So also a big fan of I can't really tell you right now a big dot that I have with this palette, other than you don't have your typical baked shades in here. This is all I can say, guys. If you don't like that, if you think it's not special enough because of that, then really don't get the palette for the full price. You know, Pat McGrath, like right now, always have a sale going on, and maybe you can pick it up on a sale. Or if you think it's not worth it at all because there are no those special shades in here, don't pick it up. But I really like it. I have to say I'm really happy that I got it, and I'm impressed. I really love this palette. I really liked all the looks I created with you together. I think they're all really variable but also special at the same time, and this is something I'm searching for in Pat McGrath palettes, you know, so I can't say any negative about it. At least right now I can't. Maybe it will change later on, but I don't have the feeling, to be honest. I don't have the feeling that this opinion of mine will change, but we will see. I really love this palette. I'm a big fan. I loved all the looks that I created with you together, and I will definitely use this one so much more. Guys, I think I have a new favorite, to be honest. I really like it. I really like it. Pat McGrath always have the ability to make something so special, so beautiful, and so stunning on the eyes. And I don't know, always a fan of her stuff, even though I think of some palettes, I don't know what to think about it. I'm not really the big fan. But as soon as I get it in my hands, it's always love. Maybe some need a little bit more time, others don't, but in the end it's always love. So this is telling me everything. She's my favorite brand for a reason, I have to say. So take what you want of this video, but I really love it. I can recommend it to you. But with all the things that I said, you have to make your decision if you think it's worth it or not. I love this one. It will be my treasured new Pat McGrath palette in my collection, and I'm really happy about it. And yeah, guys. Now we are really at the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, I would be really happy if you give me a thumbs up on this video, that I know that you like this kind of content, and especially Pat McGrath content, because the love is real for her right here on this channel. If you haven't already, also subscribe my channel. It would make me really happy. And maybe click on the little bell to get notifications here and there when I'm posting something new. And with that being said, guys, I hope we will see each other in my next video. And until then, bye.